Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a detailed camera review of the latest F series smartphone from Oppo in India, the Oppo F19 Pro Plus. So Oppo F19 Pro Plus is the latest 5G enabled device in the F series, and the F19 Pro Plus comes with the 800U Dimensity chipset from MediaTek. It is a 5G enabled chipset, and on the camera front we have a quad camera setup. It's a 48 megapixel quad camera, and on the front panel you get a 16 megapixel punch hole camera. That's the camera aspect of the F19 Pro Plus. So how good is the camera for the price segment it is being offered? That's what we are going to talk about in this video. So let's begin the camera review of the Oppo F19 Pro Plus. But before that, if this is your first time on this channel, do hit that red subscribe button and also hit the bell icon to get notified of all the videos we publish. So let's begin. In terms of camera hardware, the Oppo F19 Pro Plus comes with a 48 megapixel primary OmniVision OV48B sensor with f1.7 aperture and 6 element lens. There is a secondary 8 megapixel ultra wide angle sensor with f2.2 aperture, a third 2 megapixel macro sensor and a fourth 2 megapixel depth sensor is also included. On the front panel, you get a 16 megapixel punch hole selfie camera with f2.4 aperture. Now next, let's have a look at the camera samples. In terms of daylight, the Oppo F19 Pro Plus does a good job with details and clarity. The colors are also good and does a good job in keeping it natural. The sky colors are also mostly done well. The sharpness levels with the 48 megapixel shooter looks good, although we haven't seen many OEMs use this sensor. The sharpness levels are good, and this is evident when you zoom in. The dynamic range is also pretty good and resolves shadows pretty well. The colors are good and mostly cooler tones, and they're pleasing to the eyes, and most people will definitely like these colors. Now moving on to the ultra wide angle lens. This also does a good job in color reproduction, as there isn't a major shift in color reproduction when it comes to the ultra wide angle lens. The sharpness levels are adequate, although there is room for improvement. Now moving on to the close-up images. Once again, the Oppo F19 Pro Plus does an impressive job with details and colors. There is no saturation issues and it renders it perfectly well, and the sharpness levels are once again good. There is also a macro mode available, and here again the shots have come pretty good. Once again the colors are quite good for a 2 megapixel macro sensor. This is where Oppo has done a pretty impressive job. Now moving on to portraits. As usual, Oppo does a lot of beauty mode to the portrait shots, and we were not really impressed with the quality offered, especially the skin tones where there is a lot of whitening happening. The edge detection in portraits is pretty good, and we feel a bit more fine tuning is required, especially for skin tones, as it look a bit too artificial. Moving to the low light experience. With indoor lighting, the phone can take some good images and the details are also good. But when light drops further, in extreme low light, images tend to be a bit too soft in nature and sharpness levels go down. But you can compensate it with the night mode, which actually does a decent job in bringing more details with better sharpness levels. The noise levels are definitely visible, but we feel they are still manageable levels as the images bring in good details. Finally, the selfie camera. The 16 megapixel selfie camera brings in good selfies, and there is good details as well. The skin tones are mostly good and the sharpness levels are acceptable. The dynamic range is also good. While many take selfies with the beauty mode turned on, it can change from person to person. We liked selfies without the beauty mode turned on. The phone also comes with portrait mode for selfies, and here the edge detection is fairly accurate, if not the best. So this is the front facing camera sample taken with the Oppo S19 Pro Plus selfie camera. It can record videos in 1080p resolution, so you can judge yourself how good the clarity of the video is and also the audio output. Moving on to the video recording. The phone supports 4K at 30 fps without stabilization. The colors are too saturated, and lack of stabilization is definitely a deal breaker at this price. There is also no 4K at 60 fps included. The phone has 1080p at 30 fps with stabilization, which works quite well. The colors are better and details and sharpness levels are also good. There is also no 1080p at 60 fps included. The phone also supports super stable mode, which does a decent job in terms of stabilization. The ultra-wide angle lens can do 1080p at 30 fps and the quality is quite good, but once again no stabilization is offered. The phone also comes with slow motion mode, which is quite average at its best. So this is the dual video mode available on the Oppo F19 Pro Plus, so you can record videos with the dual camera, that means the rear camera as well as the front camera, and you can have multiple layouts for the camera as well. So this looks pretty good in terms of recording. So this is the dual mode in the video recording. So that is a detailed camera review of the Oppo F19 Pro Plus. So how does it fare in terms of the competition? The Oppo F19 Pro Plus has a good camera which shines in daylight, macro, close-up and to an extent the low light as well, although there is room for improvement in low light. The portraits needs a bit more fine tuning, and so is the video recording, especially the 4K where the colors are messed up. So what do you guys think about the camera on the Oppo F19 Pro Plus? Do share in your thoughts in the comment section. This is Nirmal signing off with a camera review of the Oppo F19 Pro Plus. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Do hit that like button and also hit that subscribe button for more videos. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.